my name forever.
This is my name what?
This is my name forever.
Forever.
And this is my memorial until all generations.
Until all generations. The Most High name ain't changed. They ain't come up with no Jah, and Yah, and all these other different things. Read that verse for them again, verse 15.
And God said, moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
This is my name forever. A higher, a sure, a higher. It's time that you took a second look. We've come up with all these different things. We came up with all these pagan religions and all these pagan traditions. And we put different names on God. We put different names on Christ. But that's the Most High's name. And if you want to be able to connect with him as the so-called black man, the so-called African-American being the tribe of Judah from the nation of Israel, you need to know the name of the Most High. It's time that you took a second look. Now, let's go to Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. We apologize once again, like I said, for that awkwardness, that little period like that, but it's time that our people know who the true name of the Most High is. It's time that you have an understanding so that this is our book. Okay? This is our book. This is a letter given to our people. And let me tell you something on the outset before we get through all these scriptures. Every chapter, every verse, every book of the Bible that we're going to read from today is specifically given to the tribes. And we're going to make sure we point that out each step of the way. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. We're going to start with verse 1 there. We're going to look at verses 1 through 14. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 14.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus said the Lord, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine exploits, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown.
Okay, so he's saying right here, I remember you in your youth, when you was all into me, when I first brought you out of Egypt, when you was just so in love with me, and you was so intimate with me, and was looking to spend time with me, and looking to give me glory and honor in your youth. And many of us were just like that when we first got saved, and we first went into the church, and we first heard about what Christ did for us and died for our sins. We were so in love. We just was so happy to understand and to know what the Most High did for us. We couldn't put this Bible down. We went to first service, the second service. We started attending Sunday school. Everybody we came in contact with, we had to tell them about the Most High. And that word, and when he said the love of your, that means when you were engaged to the Most High. That betrothal. Another word is betrothal. In your early stages before the marriage took place. You were so excited. Nobody could talk you out of the things of God. Nobody could get you to talk bound about Jesus. But then look what happened, verse 4. Excuse me, verse 3.
And Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase, all that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, said the Lord.
He said you was my first fruit. You were so holy. You wouldn't watch no negativity on TV. You put all your CDs down. They're telling my age now when I'm talking about CDs. Put all your CDs down. Put your tapes down. You didn't want to do anything that was you felt to be unpleasing to the Most High. You was done with all of that. But look what happened. Verse 4.
Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, What iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain?
Now listen. This is what happened to the so-called black man, to the so-called African-American man in this country. They brought us over here on slave ships. We suffered. We cried. We were beaten. We were killed. Our women were raped. Our families were destroyed. But our trueness and connection to the Most High it kept us from being utterly destroyed, internally and externally. So we stayed with God. And then the Most High delivered us off of those plantation fields. And our people in this country sought the Bible, sought the Most High, submitted to Christ. And we started building. We started growing. And all this discrimination, with all the prejudice, with all the strategic weapons that were formed against our people, they still could not stop us. And all of this is pre-civil rights. We couldn't be stopped. They'll burn our church down, we'll build it right back up. They'll kill one leader, another leader will raise up. They'll run us out of this town, we'll go build another town. They could not stop us. And all this was pre-civil rights. But then some guy came along and said, hey, buddy, I know you're going to North Carolina A&T, but why don't you come down here to Chapel Hill? We'll accept you here, buddy. I know you got your great restaurants over here, but come on down. You can come to our restaurants. Let's go march in the streets so that we can give you some civil rights. So all of a sudden, the divine rights that the Most High had given us were not good enough. We needed acceptance from our oppressors. And we marched and we fought and we fight, trying to get something from them. Now, let me pause here for a second. This is not speaking against our ancestors that were trying to make our life better. This is speaking against the people that was behind the curtain that were deceiving us. Because once we got into the places, we no longer look to the Most High anymore. We put the Bible down and start picking up textbooks when they gave us. We stopped praying and we started celebrating. We no longer was looking to Christ. Now we were looking to affirmative action. And look at our communities post-civil rights. Look at Harlem. Look at the Bronx. Look at our neighborhoods. Look at every prominent neighborhood. Now, some of you may not be old enough to know this, but talk to your grandmothers. Talk to your uncles and uncles about how our communities look pre-civil rights and how they look now. Look at how our families looked at pre-civil rights. Look at how our families look now. Yeah, you had some Rolling Stone fathers and you had a few who grew up without a father. But for the majority of our people, it was husband, wife, children. Not all this single mom stuff you see today. Not all these deadbeat dads that you see today. There wasn't no such thing as a baby mom and a baby daddy pre-civil rights. But because we walked away from the Most High, this is what happened to our people. And it's the same thing that Israel did, our forefathers did when they were in the land of Egypt, when they went out of the land of Egypt. They was in love with God for the deliverance. But once the deliverance come, once the blessings come, once the money come, once the houses come, once the cars come, we forget who gave it to us. That's right, Teasy. Durham, North Carolina. Look at the way it looks now. Durham, North Carolina was one of the most prominent black communities in the nation. Now it's crack infested, gang infested, prostitutes, single kids, single moms and kids, destitute, because we walked away from the Most High. So the Most High is asking here in verse 4, what did I do to you? What did you see in me that make you not want to be with me anymore? Verse 6.
Neither said they were, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, where no man dwelt.
All of a sudden now, we forgot about the Most High who got us off the fields. All of a sudden now, we forgot about the Most High who led us into the west and started building up communities and towns. All these towns that you see with these biblical names, we started them. There's a town in North Carolina called Enochville. Who you know about Enoch better than we do? Little Bethlehem, Zions, all these little towns you should see around the world, around this country, we build them. All these neighborhoods, all these great cities, we build them. Look at Detroit now. They got a statue up there of Satan in the city of Detroit now. because we forgot. No more are we talking about the guy that got us off the fields. No more are we talking about the guy that got us off the picking cotton, being sharecropping. Now all we're talking about is money, 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 money. You got people out here now that let's just go for it. I'm not even verse 7.
And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye enter, ye defiled my land and made my inheritance an abomination.
Made my heritage an abomination. And I'm blaming this on the men. This ain't the women's fault. This is the men's fault. It's not the children. It's the men. Because your eyes got wide open to somebody telling you will get a house over this side. And you didn't care about your house that was here that the Most High gave you. We got so caught up in being accepted that we left our black women, our African American women behind. Look at the 70s. Look at what happened in the 70s. They wouldn't give us a movie in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. We had to do our own budget and get our own little low budget movies out. But then Hollywood just opened up the red carpet. And guess what now? Instead of going out and doing the movies that's going to bring up our communities, pimp, drug dealers, and hustlers for a check. Destroying our people. Look at the rappers today. Look at the singers today. Look at the actors and actresses today. All that power, all that money, all that prestige. But look at what they're using it for. Look at the preachers. Look at these pastors. All that power and influence. And look at what they're using it for. Today's lesson is time you took a second look. Verse 8.
The priest said not, where is the Lord? Where is the Lord that handled the law that knew me not?
Read that verse again.
The priest said not, where is the Lord? And they that handled the law knew me not.
They didn't even know him. The person who was in charge of putting the law out, they didn't even know God. We sending politicians and representatives and senates up there to these states. They don't even know God. How are you going to form a law in a community when you don't know the law and statutes and commandments of the Most High? But this is who we sending up. This is who we make leaders in our community. You putting a pastor, voting out a pastor who preach the truth and voting in a pastor who hype you up every Sunday. Verse 9.
The pastor also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit.
They prophet against Baal, not for the Most High, but for Satan. Go out there, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. I feel the Spirit of the Lord in the house. Somebody said he got a $10,000 seed. Somebody got a $1,000 seed. We got this line for $1,000, this line with a $500. Where you sit at in the Most High's word? It's time to take a second look. Verse 9.
Wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith the Lord. With your children's children will I plead.
Listen, this is why we're here today. Because with our forefathers, he said, look, man, your guys ain't hearing it. So now I'm about to go to the children's children. We are the children's children. The so-called black man, the so-called African-American man, the so-called Mexican, the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Dominican, the so-called Jamaican, the so-called Aborigines, the people of West and South Africa, the so-called Brazilian, the so-called Panamanian, Nicaraguan, the so-called Indian. He's pleading with us now so that we can get out of this mess. Verse 10.
For pass over the isles of Chittim and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing.
He's saying, look at all the rest of the nations. How many of them ever just walked away from the stuff that they do? The people in India still doing Hinduism. People in China still doing Buddhism. They ain't walked away from it. Yes, and praise to the Most High that you got missionaries and people going over that are giving them Christ. But for the most part, the Middle East is still Muslims. The people that in India are still Hindus, and the people in China are still. And we're hoping that all changed. But he's saying, look around you. The nations ain't changed. Why are you changing? Verse 11.
Hath the nation changed their gods, which are yet no God? But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit.
Does not profit. How in the world has our people, at least look around, the nations, they didn't change their gods, but how did our people change the glory? How in the world did our people, our ancestors, who got off those plantations, who got off those sharecropping fields, gain the structure and the strength to get us to the place that we are through Christ, and then now we get to the place that we are, and now all of a sudden, you know what, man, this church thing ain't really for me no more. What? All of a sudden, this Bible, man, you know that Bible, man, that ain't really. If it got us off the plantation fields, if it got us through slavery, if it got us through Jim Crow, it's got us through the Willie Lynch, if it got us through discrimination and raise and lynching, you telling me it can't get you through life now? It's time you took a second look. We have switched away what was real for nothing that profited us at all. Verse 12.
Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Lord. For my people have committed two evils.
What were the two evils that they did?
They have forsaken me, the fountains of living waters, and have hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water.
Now that's powerful. Read that for them again.
For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water.
You see how powerful that is? The Most High, being the access to the living water, we said no. Then we went and got some cisterns, which is a cup, which is this right here. They got holes in it. So the water that's left in it that he did give us is leaking out every day. This is why in John the 4th chapter, Christ said to the woman at the well, yeah, that water that you give, you drink it, you'll thirst again. Which means that water in the world. Yeah, that sex may feel good, but you're going to thirst again, so you're going to have to keep fornicating. Yeah, that fame that you're doing again, yeah, it's going to feel real good, but you're going to thirst again. This glory, all this praise and these social media likes and all this stuff, but it's only going to be good for a minute. Then you're going to have to go right back. Baby girl, you're going to have to go right back and put another back shot picture up to get some more likes because it's only going to carry you so far. You will thirst again. Bro, you go out and spend all your money on those rims, but when those rims get played out, you're going to thirst again. But Jesus said but the water that I give is going to build up a river of living waters in you that's going to be forever flowing. But the Most High saying here that we walked away from that living water and then took bottles, and took cisterns, we got holes in it. So the little bit that we got left of God just leaking out every day. Every day. This is why he says in John the 15th chapter that those who are disconnected to the vine can do nothing. But if I abide in you and you abide in me, anything you ask, it shall be done by my Father which is in heaven. Today's lesson is, it's time you took a second look. Now look at verse 14.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Why is he spoiled? We were never made to be servants. Deuteronomy 7:6 says that I called you to be a special people above all people in the world. But because we rejected his laws, we rejected his statutes, we rejected his commandments, we went to servant status. And the world and the theological and the Catholic schools and the Christians try to say, oh, it's because you're the cursed seed of Ham and you would be cursed to be a servant. Do you know what Canaan is? Canaan is modern day Israel. Ain't no slave ship showed up to Israel. Wake up, my people. The slave ship showed to West Africa. So we ain't but one cursed seed. There was only Canaan. The Egyptians were not slaves. The Libyans were not slaves. Okay? The Moroccans, the Somalians, the Ethiopians were not slaves. Only one set of people. the children of Israel because they broke the law, statutes, and commandments according to Deuteronomy 28. Now, go with me your Bibles to Psalms 137. If you just joined us today,